Hey, this is Sam from Cheem, and you're listening to Breakdowns for Breakfast.
Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Breakdowns for Breakfast. I'm your host, Danger, and joining me is a fellow that cannot properly break down an album without your co-host, Monster. Say hi, Monster.
Hello. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm pretty good. If you remember a couple weeks ago, when we did the Thumb episode, I mentioned I was starting another band, and I thought, it'd be cute and made a joke about naming it a different finger. That was stupid. That was really, really dumb. I've come up with a better name.
Okay,
How
it's not going to
about-
be hard to come up with a better name than Pinky.
Hey, this one takes the cake, though. What if I started a cover band and we played everything really bad and we called it Bobby Incompetent?
Sure.
That's the best I could come up with the opposites for the actual band name that we're covering.
I would go with William Can Do. I don't know.
What's the opposite of Billy? There is no such thing. But the opposite of talent is incompetent. So I thought that was kind of clever.
On this episode of Breakdowns for Breakfast, we are talking about Billy Talent's first, their self-titled debut, released in 2003. Now, I found several things where I found that it was released in December of 2002, but then it was released in 2003. I don't know. I kind of found some differing things, and I think part of that comes from where they were under a different name at the beginning, and yeah, so.
Essentially, they recorded it at the end of 2002, and it came out sometime in 2003. I think September 16th, 2003.
Okay.
Essentially, well, we'll get into it, but sometime in 2003.
Okay, so this is their self-titled debut under the name Billy Talent, because before that they were called Pez, and their album they released under the name Pez was Watouche. It came out in 99.
Because these guys have actually been a band since 1993.
Yes.
With the same four guys,
Yes.
which is incredible. That is so cool to hear that. The drummer has had some health issues,
Yeah.
so he's sort of been on hiatus, but essentially it's been the same band from 1993 with Pez up through this album and still now.
Yeah, in 2016, the drummer's MS started flaring up, and it got real bad, so he had to step back from the band, but he's still a member of the band. He's still considered part of it. Now, I think he's just stepped back from touring. I think he still steps into the studio, helps write music,
I think so
things
too.
like that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny they had to change their name from the band Pez because when they crossed that border, which, by the way, this is our first Canadian band. We've done bands from all over the world.
No.
Yeah, I don't.
Really?
I went through the list of episodes.
Wow.
And we haven't done a Canadian band that I could
I'm
find.
shocked.
So, yeah, from Mississauga, Ontario. So, yeah.
No. Spirit Box.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I wrestled once.
Yeah, I wrestled a bear once. I mean, if you say Spirit Box, I wrestled a bear once is kind of already assumed. But anyway. So, yes, I am very wrong about our first Canadian album, but our first Canadian band. But I think it's funny that they had to change their name from Pez when they, when they crossed the border. And then because there's another band named Pez in the States, but then that band didn't do anything. They just kind of disappeared. But honestly, I think Billy Talent's a better name than Pez. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Billy Talent is a much cooler name. And what's really funny is, they had to change the name Pez because there was another band called Pez. Ain't got shit to do with the candy. It's just there was another band.
Right. I tried to see if it had something to do with the candy, and it did not. It just had to do with the other band. So, with that, this is their debut self-titled album. And now I think it's funny that I feel like they kind of went the way of Led Zeppelin with naming albums because it was Billy Talent, then Billy Talent 2, then Billy Talent 3.
Yeah.
And,
for a little while, yeah.
Yeah. So, all that's fine. Anyway, Monster, you decided to bring this one to the proverbial breakfast table. Why? Why did you want to talk about this Billy Talent album and not 2, 3, or the other ones?
They stopped after 3.
Yeah, I know. The other ones actually took on names, and I don't remember the names.
Yes.
I don't have notes of this.
I know this is an auditory medium, but just wanted to show I am dressed for the occasion.
You are. I can verify that Monster is wearing a Billy Talent shirt.
A Billy Talent shirt that I purchased in 2004.
And it still
when
fits.
I saw them, barely. It's snug. Barely. But
it does look like a slim fit.
It's a medium. And when I saw them for the first time in 2004 on the Warped Tour, and I'm not going to bury the lead here. I love this band. I'm not going to say they're a top 10 band for me necessarily, but the first 3 albums, I mean, the day they came out, I was all over it. Yep. And I've seen them live twice. I was trying to get the years down. I know I definitely saw them in 2004, and then I either saw them in 05 or 06. I can't remember. I went to Warped Tour, I think 2 or 3 times, and I know I saw them twice. So I don't remember exactly, but they played Warped Tour 04, 05, 06, and 2013.
Okay. See, I didn't go. I went to Warped Tour 01, 02, 03. I don't think I went after that.
I think I might have went. See, that's where I'm a little bit mixed up because I'm certain that I saw them in 04. And I'll tell you how I know that for a fact in a minute. And I know I saw them a second time, which means I must have went in 05 and or 06. But I also might have went in like 02 or 03 as well, because come on, man, that was a long time ago. I can barely remember what happened last week, much less 20 years ago. So
it was a long time ago. And music years, it may as well have been, I don't know, a different lifetime. So
right, exactly. But
I don't think I've ever seen Billy Talent. And, I've seen a lot of the bands that we've talked about on the show.
Well, and I'll tell you what, typical Monster story. I heard one of the songs, and I probably heard it on a sampler or something before the album came out. And I was sort of on the fence with the song. When we get to the song, I'll tell you why. But there was one specific part of the song that really, my ears perked up, and I was like, okay, I need to hear what these guys sound like on an album. And so I got this album probably in 2003 or 2004, and absolutely just crushed it whenever I was 18 years old. I loved it. Then I saw them live. And dude, I don't know if you've seen any footage of them live from this time period. It is out of control. Their lead singer he goes into a completely different universe. He looks like you can see it in his face. Like when you see him in interviews and stuff, he's very calm. He's charming. He's a good looking guy. Once he hits the stage, his eyes are bugging out of his head and he's just spitting all over the place. He cannot hold still. It is pandemonium, and I absolutely love it. Obviously now they've slowed down a little bit. They're a lot older guys now, but those first couple records, man, they were wild live.
I watched a couple clips of them playing live, and I watched the videos for this album. All of them, I think, maybe most of them. I don't know. Anyway,
well, there's a little controversial video, and we'll get to it.
Oh, I know there is, but yeah. And they looked like they'd be a lot of fun live, and watching, their live performances, I was thinking, I don't think I've actually seen them live. So, that's fine. But you're obviously way more of a fan of this album than I am. And I don't hate this album by any means. I generally don't. There are certain things about it that I really don't like, but there's a lot of things about it that I do. So
now this is an album that you had heard before, right?
Okay. So every time you brought this one up to me, you had said, had you heard this album before? And I would just say yes. And just like I've done in the past, where I just give you nothing back except for the bare minimum.
Right.
And so I can't say I ever listened to this album from beginning to end. Had I heard Billy Talent before? Yes. But I had never sat down and listened to a Billy Talent album by any means. I was very familiar with them. I had seen them in different places and all, but I've never, again, seen them live. And I've heard bits and pieces of them. And I think at one point it was just kind of they were being lumped in with a lot of other bands that I was really into, those Warped Tour bands, which I have to say, I remembered why I stopped going to Warped Tour, because I was tired of standing on a hot parking lot on a hot day. And the last year I went, I remember the Yoo-Hoo tent open, and like this big inflatable Yoo-Hoo can went up, and my buddies and I were like, oh, something cold instead of $9 bottles of water. Okay, great. And then so we went over and took a bunch of shots of Yoo-Hoo. Fast forward to about 30 minutes later, and we're all like, our stomachs are hurting as it's curdling in our stomachs, and we're all hiding in shade under trees, and it was awful. Anyway, sorry, little Warped Tour sidestep there, but
yeah, no. So the reason I know that I saw them in 2004, dude, I'm telling you, man, their first couple albums, I was all in. I actually had, when I bought this t-shirt, I also bought their DVD called Scandalous Travelers. Yep. And this is I love band DVDs. You know, I've talked about them before. And this is a really good one because they're very young, but it's right as they're starting to, their debut album comes out. They blow up huge in Canada, and they start to make a, bit of an impact in America too.
I don't feel like it's hard to become big in Canada.
No, not, it's easier because it is a lot smaller country.
It's just very wide, the territory that you have to go with it.
Yeah. And I say it's smaller, but I mean like population wise.
Right, I know what you mean. I mean, but there's no population and all that, No,
north. There's more moose than people. There's more moose than people.
Yeah. The Great White North.
So they are, this DVD is about an hour long, and it's them in, various tour buses and going to different countries, and they're all real young. And what's hilarious is the singer and the guitar player never stop talking. The bass player and the drummer hardly ever speak. And that's
probably
just sort
because
of
the other two won't stop talking.
And it's just the dynamics, But anyway, the reason I know it was 2004 is because they show some clips of them playing in Atlanta, Georgia on Warped Tour in 2004. And they talk about Hurricane Alex coming through.
Okay.
Now, my 6-year-old is also named Alex, and Hurricane Alex is also an apt description for her.
Yes,
but when I saw them the first time, he came up on stage and said something about, glad you guys are here because there's a hurricane coming, and he made a joke about it. So I was like, all right, I know I saw him in 2004.
Yeah. So, I made nothing ill by Hurricane Alex, but
no,
you're, she's a little force.
Oh, she is.
Funny kid. So, okay. This album went to number 6 on the Canadian chart. So that's what I was kind of getting at with, it's not hard to go big in Canada, especially considering it sold 7,700 copies in its first week, and that put it at number 6. It was certified 4-time platinum in Canada. So, I mean, I don't feel like it's hard to get there in Canada. I mean, you're nice guys, you're nice people in Canada. You probably hand out platinums to everybody, but.
So there is a part in the DVD where they are on Warped Tour, and they're like, literally, they're like microwaving hot dogs and stuff. And the lead singer's like, hey, I just got a call from the manager. We're the number 1 selling record in Canada again. They're like, again? He's like, yeah, like we sold another 4,000 this week. And they're just like, are you serious? Like they're even like, I don't know why people like us. Like it's because
I feel like to be a young band, that would be kind of the response,
Well, okay, you say that, but they've been a band since 1993. They had been doing this for 10 years at the point that this album comes out. Which, by the way, did you listen to Watouche by Pez?
No.
At some point, you ought to just put it on for a minute. It is. You can tell it's the same guys, but it is super goofy. It is way, way sillier.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to grab the highest streaming song off of Watouche. I'm going to put a clip of it right here.
Wasn't that fun?
That was a lot of fun.
It's not ska, but it's a lot bouncier than Billy Talent. Billy Talent is okay. So this is something else I was going to ask you. What are we going to call this? It's more punk than anything else, but it's not like fast 3-chord. Like when you hear the word punk rock, it's not exactly like that.
Okay. So I don't know. I had a hard time kind of pinning down that very same thing. And so in my closing statement, and I'll just jump to it now because we do that a lot on the show. We just jump to our closing statements. So I said it's a emo Green Day, but at the same time, right? I know, but like the older Green Day, like the good Green Day. And I'm sorry, Matt Kelly. By the way, go listen to one of his podcasts.
Absolutely.
One Hit Thunder was great this past week. But anyway, I say that as of recording, but One Hit Thunder was great this past week. So
it's always good.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, I said it's emo Green Day, Sex Pistols vocals, Johnny Rotten vocals, because I feel like his Johnny Rotten warms up towards the end.
So the vocal thing is. Okay, there's two major things about this band that make them stand out, and that is the vocals and the guitars. Because the vocalist is extremely unique, and I can definitely see it being a turnoff for a lot of people. And then the guitar player is incredibly interesting. Because there's a lot of stuff that is just power chords and just chugs, but then there's also these crazy little like like these little tails at the end of riffs and stuff that are so unique. And they got those big jangly chords here or there too that are just like, I don't know what that is. That's like a C sharp diminished over A. Like I have no clue. Been playing guitar my whole life and I have no idea what this guy's doing.
Okay, so as far as the guy, the lead singer, lead singer's name is Benjamin Kowalowitz?
Yeah, so I got the band names here, the guys in the band. I'm willing to give it a shot since I brought this album.
Okay, so let me say what I was saying about him first before.
Okay, sure.
We jump into the band, to the mispronunciations, because that's just what it's going to be. So, okay, so I don't have a problem with his vocals, except for the shrill screaming that he does. And that is one of the things that takes me out of so many parts of this album is the high-pitched, shrill screaming that he's doing. I didn't have another word to put with it. And it's like, musically, all in. I think musically, fantastic. I think when he's not doing that, like, high-pitched, shrill screaming, I think he's good. But I could see how it would be a turnoff for some people. But I also like the guitar player's backing vocals that he does. Like I think it's a good dichotomy. Like he's got a lower, gruffer tone to him.
What's interesting is so I'll come back to that. I'll read through these names.
All right.
You already did the first name, so I'm not going to try to repeat it.
No, I want you to try to say that last name.
Okay, so I will say the first and last name of all these guys here. Moving forward, this is going to be a first name basis, like we're old buddies, okay? So, on vocals is Benjamin Kowalowitz, maybe. On guitar, backing vocals is Ian Desai. I think that one's right. On bass, backing vocals, Jonathan Gallant. And then on drums is Aaron Solowinik.
All right. So if anybody from Billy Talent listens to this episode, whether it be when we release it or 5 years from now, if Monster butchered your names, then please let us know.
Yes.
Not how to pronounce them, just that he did a bad job of it.
Yeah. So from here on out, I'm going to talk like these guys were all on a first name basis. So Ben's voice is very unique. And to your point about the shrill screaming, I actually really like it because it sounds genuine. It sounds like he is feeling emotional and he is getting it out of his system. Whereas so many bands these days have quote unquote rough vocals or screamed vocals or whatever. They all sound the same. Like they all have like the same kind of filters on their voice. They all have sort of the same tone. Nobody screams like Ben does. Like nobody screams like this guy does. Now, that's not to say that you have to like it because it is kind of, wacky, but for me, it totally works. And to your point, Ian's backing vocals, he also has kind of a weird voice.
He does,
but it is in like a lower register. And also the bass player, Jonathan, when he's doing his backing vocals, him and Ian are usually together. And so he's not much of a singer. I think he's mostly doing more of the like yells and, backup kind of gruff stuff.
Okay. So do you want to mention, before we jump into track list, do you want to mention the producer on this album?
Oh, yeah.
So if you have something to say about the producer, then please let me know, because his name is Gavin Brown, or goes by Golden, Gavin Golden Brown, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, he's produced Barenaked Ladies, 3 Days Grace, several Billy Talent, The Trues, Royal Teeth. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of, I don't want to say a go-to guy, but he's, he produced Tuba Stink too. I forgot about that. But yeah, I wouldn't say go-to guy, but he does a good job at what he does.
And he's worked with Billy Talent a couple times.
Yeah.
He's on the DVD. It's really funny. They're kind of joking with him. And speaking about the recording process of this album, there's some clips of them in the studio while recording this, and you'll probably agree with this. Ben makes a comment about how he hates it. He said it was parts of it he loved, but it was also really scary and uncomfortable, but it also kind of felt good. And he said because he doesn't sing perfectly. He's never been a perfect quote unquote singer. He's a live performer. So trying to get perfect takes in the studio is kind of tricky.
Right.
Well, okay. So
I didn't have anything left on the producer. I had nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so I was just going to say that was the producer, and yeah, he's done a lot of bands, a lot of Canadian artists. And then I was going to mention that it was recorded by a guy named Jacquire King, maybe. I don't know. That first name is wacky.
I didn't get
it. JACQUIRE. So
Jamiroquai?
Canadian.
Yeah.
Jamiroquai?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
We should do one of their albums.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
No, okay. He's worked with a bunch of bands too, Kings of Leon, Modest Mouse, Shania Twain, and has 40 Grammy nominations, which is nutso. And then it was mixed. I don't believe so.
He just gets nominated a lot.
Every album he gets nominated, never wins. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And then it was mixed by Chris Lord-Alge.
Okay.
Which
I know that.
I wanted to bring him up because of the Green Day thing. Because he has pretty much, I think he started on, Nimrod was, I think, the first album that he mixed, and he's mixed pretty much every Green Day album since then.
Yeah.
He did American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown. But he's also done stuff for My Chemical Romance and Simple Plan. So
yeah,
these guys, for their debut album, they were in pretty good hands.
Okay. Now I know I just said, do you want to jump into it? But I do want to mention real quick. So in 2005, Hard Rock Magazine said that this was in the 500 greatest rock and metal albums of all time. Now that was the 500 greatest, and they put it at 453.
Without looking at the list, if you guys want me to do a blind react to a 500 album list, let me know.
Just do 10 at a time.
Yeah, we'll do 10 at a time for 6 years. But
it'll be episodes for a while. We won't have to worry about what you're going to do for second breakfast.
It's true. It's without seeing the rest of the list. I mean, come on, dude. How many rock and metal albums have been recorded? Thousands.
Yeah.
So to be on that list is pretty cool. But I mean, compared to what, I don't know. I mean, so. Yeah. But sure, why not?
All right. You ready for track one?
Oh, yeah.
Track one. This is How It Goes. You brought this one, you go.
Okay. So this was their opening song for a long time. Even after their second album came out, I think they still started with this. And so that intro is just the perfect little intro. You can do it as long as you want. It's just 4 notes.
And it's fun in headphones.
It is, yeah. But it's a nice little build. and it kind of gets the crowd, a little bit rowdy. And then usually whenever Ben comes out on stage, he'll, scream something into the microphone when the band kicks in.
He comes out and becomes a hype man.
And in between songs, he says some of the goofiest stuff. I can't remember anything off the top of my head, but I just remember like in between songs, he's very funny, and usually has to apologize because he says something smart ass. Matter of fact, on that DVD, I can't remember what the show was, but they were performing somewhere, and it was one of those like stages where it had sort of like the strip down the middle, like the crowd was separated into two sides, And on one side, it was pretty full and everybody was kind of into it. The other side was real empty and people were like laying down. And so he came out on stage and said something about, wanting to rock and roll and blah, blah, blah. And he said, and to all you losers over there that want to take a nap and pretend it's Woodstock 99 or some shit, peace and love. And then, starts screaming his head off and going completely bonkers. But no, this is a great opener. I think this is a really good, solid opener for this album. It really sets the tone for kind of what we're going to get. It's sort of mid-tempo. It's bouncy. That opening riff, just like I said before, it has the little lead up with just the little single notes. But then when the riff kicks in, you hear Ian's kind of weird way of playing. It's those da-da-da-ding, dong-ba-bong-ba-bing. It's kind of just wacky. And then, when Ben comes in singing the verse, I think a lot of people right then and there make their decision on how they're going to feel about this band.
Everybody is tired, that bar and sack are trying.
Yeah, so again, his singing voice, I'm okay with. I can see how a lot of people wouldn't be, but when he goes into those high-pitched screams, just doesn't.
So do you like the chorus on this song or no?
Picture perfect.
No. I was good with pretty much everything outside of that, but that pretty much took this from like, this is a good song to this song's okay. The song's okay. I do
love it.
Okay. I do appreciate how he throws on a goblin voice at 128.
Hope you get lost and you're not found.
It's just a weird little thing. I mean, it's definitely not a boring song by any means, but it just, as soon as he goes high pitch, I don't want that anymore. And so, I said it was fun in headphones because I was into it in headphones until he went to that. And then I kind of pulled headphones off, and I don't think I listened to the whole thing in headphones by any means, just because of that constantly.
I like I said, this is not a hill I'm going to die on because I totally get it. But it totally works for me. I think it's great. I don't find it, like I said, I find it very genuine. It feels very authentic. Whereas a lot of times when I listen to bands scream, it sounds very just stock screamer voice. And at least with Ben's, it is very unique. However, I will say on that DVD, there's a part where he's on the phone with some magazine giving an interview. And he makes a joke about how they used to submit demos and nobody would ever give him like a review. And now people are calling him to do interviews and stuff. And you can't hear what the person on the phone is saying. And he's like, no, I really do appreciate it. Like, I think it's great. He said, we did get one review. I think he said like from their magazine. He was like, all it really said was I was the most annoying singer they'd ever heard in their life.
Which it's fair.
Yeah, which I totally get. And we've been down this road before. I like stuff that's super unique and super different. And this dude's voice is that.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't know why, but it works for me.
All right, so let's talk about track 2, Living in the Shadows.
Awkward instances won't make you have. Don't you tell me what you think is right. I could tell.
Okay, so what I'll say for Living in the Shadows is I like the intro on this one better than the first one.
Okay. I feel like they have kind of sort of similar intros.
They do.
As far as like starting with just the guitar and kind of building into it.
Yeah, they do have similar, but I like this one better. I just think it's a more solid intro on this one. And I'm actually really good with this song up until 29 seconds when the vocals come in.
Constant quick fixes.
And I had a hard time on this one in general because he stays in that high-pitched, shrill place. I do like the living in the shadows.
I think it was my dad who pointed this out to me because, you know, anytime I found a band, I always tried to play it for my dad, see if he liked it. I'm pretty sure he's the one that pointed out to me that with the way they say shadows, they kind of, they went in the shadows. He said it kind of sounds like they're saying shithouse. It's like
living in the shithouse.
So every once in a while when I listen to this song now, I hear living in the shithouse. I can kind of hear that.
Okay, so I do like this song the more it goes on because, like, from 145 on, it's solid.
Yeah, I like that part a lot too.
Until he gets high pitched again.
See, I like that too. Like, so at 145, it kind of gets a little chopped up, and this whole song is bouncy. Like, it never really gets like super heavy or anything. Well, I mean, it is heavy, but I just mean it doesn't like get really fast or punky. But I really do like that part at 145 because it is a little extra funky. And then that scream at 213 to kind of like cap it off. No, man, I like it. I really do hate, kind of bummed out that you don't like his voice. I kind of hoped you would.
No, and the thing is that I like his voice except for when he goes there. I don't like it outside of that. I don't know. It just didn't work for me.
You might, for me, I feel like the first three, and it's not because the albums, a matter of fact, a lot of people think their fourth album is their best album. So it's not like they've gone down in quality.
No.
But just for me, these first couple records, you know, this is when I was seeing them live. This was when I was kind of like buying them as they were coming out. So they kind of, you know, connected with me a little bit more.
Yeah.
But as they've gone on, they have mellowed out a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if you might like some of their later stuff.
I do. So what I didn't say there at the beginning is I have gone back to them on the occasion, and I've, like, whenever they release a new album, I'll check it out. You know, not waiting at the store to buy the physical copy like you have, but I have checked it out. And so I do know that he does get better as a vocalist, but I mean, okay, like I've said many times, I'll say it again. I don't have a problem with his voice except for when he goes screaming, the high shrill scream. Yeah. So,
because I was going to say, one of my absolute favorite Billy Talent songs ever came out just a few years ago. It's called End of Me, and it's got Rivers Cuomo from Weezer on it.
Yep.
It's a super chill song, but it's just the chord progression's fun. The lyrics are fun. Great video to go along with it too. But yeah, it's a very chill song. And I mean, I guess there's not really a song where he doesn't do at least a little screaming on this album.
Right.
But, you know, as they've gotten, you know, you get older, you're not as angry anymore.
Well, but what I will say for that is, as the album goes on, I do end up liking it more. I feel like his scream gets a little more honed, and it has more of a tone to it. Let's put it that way.
I think it's sort of an acquired taste thing. I think it's the first couple times through, it's a little jarring. And then once you become more comfortable with it, it feels a little more natural, I think.
All right, let's talk about track 3, Try Honesty. So, like, this album title is what I keep saying to you. Just try honesty. You don't have to keep lying and bullshitting me. Just try honesty. It's fine.
Well, I honestly think a lot of the albums you bring suck.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I'm going to be nice. So, all right. This was released as a single on September 1st, 2003.
This is definitely the one I heard first, and I don't remember how or where or why, but I definitely heard this song first. And I liked the guitar, and I thought, the verses were okay. The harmonies are nice. But I wasn't like, nothing wowed me. And then the bridge happens. And
okay, well, before we get to the bridge.
Okay.
You're jumping ahead. Okay, so I will say this is one of the better tracks on the album. And again, I don't hate this album by any means, but I do feel like this one, up until that bridge, is, I don't know how to say this any differently than just, it's a all-male Paramore.
Right. So the first time I heard it, I actually it gave me sort of a chilled out at the drive-in feel.
Okay.
Like, because it has sort of those jangly guitars, kind of a off-kilter vocal delivery. So it kind of gave me that. But you're absolutely right. It's a little emo for my taste, typically. So then at 2:17, when that wacky-ass riff starts.
Yes.
And then at 2:22, when he lets out one of the more, like, animated screams of the whole album. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then the bridge goes off, and there's a bunch of screaming and a really weird guitar lick in there. I was like, I remember like hearing this song and being like, okay, and like getting to the end of the bridge and rewinding it back to the beginning of the bridge and starting it again. Because as soon as I heard that, I was like, I got to hear what else these guys sound like. Because if this is in this song, I got to hear more.
All right. So did you ever see the video for this song?
Yeah.
Okay. So watching the video, I'd never seen it before we decided to take this one on. Watching the video, I thought, this feels like the video that a band with hardly any budget films, because it's actually filmed at the Whitby Psychiatric Hospital in Whitby, Ontario. So not too terribly far from their home there in Canada. But to me, Canada, like everything's right.
I know. No. There's like stuff that are just 1,000 miles away, and we're like, it's all in Canada. It's fine.
Like it, like you could. Okay, if it's 1,000 miles away in my head, you can knock on the door.
Right. Exactly.
From your porch. But okay, so the paint's peeling off the walls and the ceilings, windows are broken, and so watching it, I was going, I feel like I have seen my friends film these videos. I feel like I've seen these videos. I feel like you have filmed these videos, but I think the production value was put into where the hospital is supposed to be haunted, I guess.
So this was filmed and recorded before they kind of took off, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So it is a very much like a lot of music videos where it's just the band performing in a gross location.
Yeah.
To your point, I just recently re-uploaded the old Death Proof music video for Rip It Up, which is, we were going for like, something scary, but it just turned into a Scooby-Doo episode. It's so bad, but
it's entertaining. I've seen it before. Yeah, it's entertaining.
We had access to an abandoned old hosiery mill. So you're exactly right. So we're running all through there. We're like, hey, this looks gross. Let's stand in front of that. Like, I mean, that's literally all it was.
Didn't you break your toe or something?
No, Josh, the cameraman, did. Oh. He was walking. He was wearing flip-flops, which that's a bad idea in an abandoned factory. And he basically just kicked the hell out of a cinder block. So he limped for about half the shoot.
So I feel like at the end of that video, there should have been a guy going, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those pesky kids.
Might as well have. No fooling. So we haven't really talked about the lyrics a lot.
That's fine.
But I was going to say, there's a funny little story at during this song on the DVD. So the chorus to this song is, "Forgive me, Father, why should you bother? Try honesty, try honesty."
Forgive me, Father, why should you bother? Try honesty, try honesty.
They go into this segment on the DVD where apparently the guitar player's mom saw the music video and started flipping out about the lyrics. He said, "What?" He's like, "Why in the hell is Ben singing, 'Forgive me, Father, I shot your mother'? What are y'all singing about?" And he was like, "What? No, that's not what he said."
Misheard lyrics are fun.
But it's so, and I'll bring up some lyrics later on for sure. But that's one of the neat things about this album is there's some of the lyrics are a little silly, but you know exactly the point he's trying to make. And then there's some other lyrics that are, if they don't make you feel a little something, I feel sorry for you, because that's like hard not to feel something on a couple of these.
No, and it's true. I mean, sometimes lyrics just are flat and just kind of pass by me with nothing. But then sometimes there were lyrics that do jump out, and I do have notes about some of them. So
yeah,
you know.
I think the subject matter of the first couple songs, I'm pretty sure This Is How It Goes has something to do with prostitution, which comes up again later. Without getting into his personal life, maybe he knew somebody that was, part of that or something. I don't know. But
Canadian prostitutes.
Man, last week was German hookers and now it's Canadian prostitutes. What is happening to this show? Next song. All
right, track 4, Line and Sinker.
We all need ego suicide. You hung my head today, but I have licked my wounds and carried on. Everybody needs some sympathy.
Me and you are. Good. I was going to say, me and you are going to have very differing opinions on how this song starts, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. All right, so this is an odd one. This
love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Figured you would. But it opens with that heavy, screaming, shrill vocal.
Mm-hmm. What you say is what you get!
And I was pretty much immediately put off on this one.
Yeah, the song starts. Okay, so the end of Try Honesty kind of ends, I don't want to say in a dour way, but the last chord progression is descending and it's like ding, 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 ding. And then it fades out. And then he just comes in and screams at the top of his lungs, "What you see is what you get." And it just kicks into just real fast, real heavy. But then what's funny is when the verse actually comes in, it kind of pulls back a little bit. The guitar gets a little bit cleaner. And there's a little bit of a bounce to it. But no, I love the way this song starts.
Yeah, so I had to kind of fight past that because he does kind of calm down in his shrilling. But I don't know, this one was just kind of all over the place. I feel like this was their experimental track. I didn't hate this one, but I really wasn't sure if I liked it.
This is one of my favorites on the album. I like the energy.
I'm glad you like it.
I really like those parts at 44 seconds and then at 152, where he says the thing about everybody needs a little sympathy. Santa seemed to miss my chimney.
Everybody needs some sympathy. Santa seemed to miss my chimney.
That's the kind of lines that I really enjoy, because it's like Santa seemed to miss my chimney is like, oh, that's silly. But if you stop and think about it, that would suck. Like if you're a kid and Santa missed my chimney, like what a unique way of saying I'm sad. You know what I mean?
Or that reminds me of like when we have forgotten to play Tooth Fairy, and it's like, oh, the Tooth Fairy missed the house.
She was on a bender. Then also the line where he says, "My fortune cookie's empty."
For me, and now my fortune cookies empty.
Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever got a fortune cookie and opened it and there's no fortune?
No, that's never happened to me. But I do remember very specifically that I got a fortune cookie, I opened it, and there was just a blank piece of paper inside. There was nothing printed on it. And my thought was, what does this mean? I don't like this. Normally fortune cookies mean nothing, but this has to mean something here. So, okay.
I would almost be like more okay with it giving me bad news.
Right.
Crack it open and like, you're going to stub your toe while filming a shitty new metal band's music video.
But that was not you. That was Josh.
Those are shadowing cookies.
Yeah.
No, this song's great. You're wrong, but that's fine.
Okay. So I do think the guitar at 2:37 is nice.
Because that's the thing, for as like aggressive as this song starts, it is still sort of like a mid-tempo kind of groovy song.
Yeah.
It just has those really, fast, screamy parts.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about track 5, Lies.
Lies make it better. Lies are forever. Lies to go home to. Lies to wake up to. Lies from the altar. Lies make you falter. Lies keep your mouth fed.
This one started off very promising for me. I like the intro that this one brought to the table.
So this one doesn't really have a whole lot of the shrill screaming in it. This one's a little bit more chill.
No, and you're right, it is. I really like the verses in this song. And the thing about this one is I like the verses more than I like the chorus. I liked the chorus the first time I heard it, but I was sick of that chorus by the end of the song.
Lies make it better. Lies are forever. Lies to go home to. Lies to.
Yeah, so the chorus is, between Ben's lead vocal and Ian's backup vocal, the word lies is said in this song probably 500 times.
Right.
I didn't count. I should have.
Okay,
but
so
yeah,
the chorus
it happens a lot.
The chorus is, okay, and now Ian says lies, and then Ben says the rest of the line. So it's lies make it better, lies are forever, lies to go home to, lies you wake up to, lies from the altar, lies make you falter, lies keep your mouth fed, lies till your deathbed, lies.
Lies from the altar. Lies make you falter. Lies keep your mouth fed. Lies till your deathbed, lies.
I like what it's saying, but at the same time, it gets so annoying. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's like, by the end of the song, the first time around, I was like, good God. I'm like, are we going to say lies again? Like, they say lies so many times, they end the chorus with the word lies after they started the chorus with the word lies. Just, like I said, the first time it was fine, but by the end of it, I was just, I don't know.
This is not one of my favorites. I do like the guitar work. Again, Ian has this really unique way of picking these notes and stuff. I should have looked up his guitar tuning because there's no way he's in standard tune. The way some of the chord progressions and stuff, there's no way. But yeah, there's so many lies in this song that it does start to kind of grate on you a little bit. And a matter of fact, on the DVD, they're in a radio station and they do this song like acoustic. Yeah. Didn't love that.
No.
Didn't love that.
No.
But if you think about the track listing on this album, I feel like this was a good place to put this.
Yeah, there's really only one switching of songs I would do on this this track listing. I actually feel like it kind of flowed rather well. But okay, so this is the first place where I put down it's a Green Day song because I feel like musically it's solid. And I didn't stop liking Green Day up until I liked American Idiot when it first came out, but I kind of just got tired of hearing it. But this feels like Green Day in that span between like Nimrod and American Idiot, where they put out Warning and Uno Dos and Trace, and
that came after.
Oh, did it?
Uno Dos Trace came out just like a year or two ago.
No, it came out longer. It came out before that.
Oh, hold on. Let's go to the Google.
Okay, I'll wait.
Yeah, we'll edit this out. Or maybe we won't. Make everybody sit around and listen to this shit while I click around. Okay, so... Oh my God, how many stupid things have they put out?
Oh, they put out a lot.
Yeah, this was not the right way to do this. Okay, Warning was 2000. Shenanigans was 2002.
Okay.
I don't even know what that is. American Idiot, 2004. Then, hold on, I'm looking. Getting closer. Okay, Uno came out in 2012. Okay, they all three came out in 2012. Okay. And then now they're doing other stuff. I don't know. Green Day,
Okay.
Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
So
anyway, I feel like this was the Green Day sound that they were putting out. Musically, I feel like it was more of that, like, between Nimrod and American Idiot.
here's what I'll say about that. Billy Joe couldn't play any of the guitar stuff on this album.
Oh, no, I'm not going to say that it is, but it's kind of in the same vein as that.
And that's not true. I've actually seen some stuff where he does some like leads and some licks. Like he's a better guitar player than a lot of the stuff he puts on those Green Day albums.
Yep.
It's very basic power chord stuff. But Ian's guitar playing, I think, is sort of the best part of this song.
And Ian is a great guitar player, so not going to knock Ian's ability at all. Like I said, musically it's solid.
And also the line where Ian sings "Bulletproof Your Limousine." I don't like it or dislike it. It's just every time I see this song, the first thing that comes into my mind is when Ian goes, "Bulletproof Your Limousine." It's like the first line that hits my brain.
I missed that. Maybe it's because I was tired of so many lies.
Lies, 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 to lies, 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 keep your mouth shut.
Oh, maybe.
All right, let's talk about track 6, The X.
And these open wounds will hear what I may say. Yeah, my head turned black, then the sky turned grey. Yeah, my head turned black, then the sky turned grey.
And this was released December 23rd, 2003.
Right in time for Christmas.
Yeah, I don't think this is a holiday song. So, I don't hate it, but this is where I started to realize that I like everything going on except for that trill. That like his vocals, like I said, aren't bad all the time, but sometimes they just borderline are like, I don't know. I feel like if there's a wine glass in the room, it's going to break.
I mean, I get that, but God, I love this song. I love how fast it is. I love how angry he is. That's the thing. Like, I don't disagree that his voice, especially that scream, is shrill. It is like high pitched and it's not for everybody. I get that. But I never at any moment ever on this album do I think he's phoning it in. Like, I see him in the studio just shaking, trying to get some of this stuff out. And part of that's because I've seen him live and I know how he acts when he's singing. But this just feels so raw and so genuine. So I don't know. Like, I get it. And I'm not going to like argue with you on it, but I just like it so much.
No, that's fine. You can like it. Okay. So I was okay with this song. Like I said, I didn't hate it up until 156. And that guitar that happens was real nice. Just real nice.
I was getting ready to say that part is really nice. There's this real nice walking bass line that kind of goes behind the real chimey picked notes. Honestly, this song is so short that I would have been okay with them maybe extending that bridge, maybe just, 4 more measures, 6 more measures, something like that, because this is one of the shortest songs on the album, which makes sense because it is
2 minutes, 40 seconds. So yeah.
Because it's made to just, he's pissed off screaming about his ex.
Yeah.
And,
maybe he's pissed off at the ex because she lies so much.
Possibly. And I don't remember what he said, but he said something horrendous before they played this song when I saw them. Something about like, he was talking about pointed at some person in the crowd and said something about like doing something sexual and then blah, 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 blah. And then I'll never call you again. It's like, again, there's so many things live and in interviews and stuff that he just says the first thing. Like today we would say he let the intrusive thoughts win.
Right.
Every single time he opens his mouth, the intrusive thoughts win.
I might get along with him then. I don't know. But okay, did you watch the video for this song?
If I'm not mistaken, this is mostly just live footage, right?
I watched it once and not really paid attention to it because it's just kind of them playing in like what looked like more of a basement with people around. Like it's just kind of live them playing in a room. And
it gives you a good idea of what their live shows were like back then.
Right. Nothing special about the video on this one. So let's move on to talk about track 7, River Below.
I'll take all the blame, the front page and the fame.
Did you watch this video?
Yeah, so this is the one that had a little bit of controversy, I think.
Okay, so, all right, this was released July 5th, 2004. And I understand what the controversy was because I found several different things that this song was about. But, I mean, okay, so the video, for anybody that doesn't know, it's the band playing in a garage across the street from a guy building an atom bomb in his basement. And then it ends with it exploding. It was kind of cool. But at the same time, I also saw that the lyrics were about the 2002 sniper attacks. I can hear how it's about all the things. It's not a happy song.
So to go back to the intrusive thoughts part, on the DVD, there's a part where they're on Much Music, the Canadians version.
Which I liked Much Music a lot when MTV was playing less music.
Right. So they're on there to promote this new video, this new single. And the VJ, she's talking to him and she's asking them about the music video. And it's exactly what you said. Said they came up with the idea shortly after the DC sniper and came up with this idea of this ex-military type building a bomb in his basement, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, it's pretty dark themes. And he was like, yeah, it's the feel-good hit of the summer. Ladies, take your tops off. And she's like, okay, let's show the video.
And then
because it's just a little spaz, dude. I love it.
Yeah, and then they played this video that was not the feel-good song.
No, not even a little bit.
Okay, so
but with that being said,
right.
The song rules.
Okay, so I feel like this is the song that they wanted the rest of the album to sound like. Not to say the rest of the album doesn't sound good, but I feel like this is the song that was kind of their sweet spot. Like they all felt like they were just hitting on all tens and just nailed it. I like this song. I do.
I feel like you've gone through the first 6 songs. If you thought the first couple were the best, then this is going to rock your world. If you thought songs like, 3 and 5, Try Honesty and Lies is more your thing, this might feel a little bit too bouncy. But again, 2003, 2004, I am firmly rooted in my new metal ways. I love this. I love how bouncy and grooving this is. It has such a fun rhythm to it. And that riff. It's real simple. It's not simple, but it's as far as just like it's a couple notes and then do. Like it just walks down chromatically. But because the drums, and that's another thing. We've talked about Ben and Ian a ton, but Aaron and Jonathan, the rhythm section in this band is great too.
Oh yeah, they're on point.
They never do anything super flashy. And I think that just because Ben's voice is so unique and Ian's playing is so interesting, they sort of almost get overshadowed a little bit, but they are just tight and solid on all of these songs.
Oh yeah. So, okay. At 59 seconds, it's just such a sweet guitar section. I don't know. This was a good one. And this is where the album started getting good for me. Like really good. This is where I really feel like they started kind of leaning more into, I would say Ben started leaning more into this is where I really started to feel the more Johnny Rotten side of his voice. Mm-hmm. And I started to feel that come out. And it's almost like the high-pitched shrill, like I said before, started to gain tone to it. And I started liking it more at this point. And I think part of it's because I liked the video as well. You know, I saw early on in listening to this that there was a video for this, so I found it, and I was like, "Oh, this is a fun video, not a summertime feel good video by any means." But yeah, and also considering it was filmed in Canada and summer there's like 12 minutes, but you know,
and still has 3 inches of snow for some reason.
Right. So, all right, let's talk about track 8, Standing in the Rain.
Standing in the rain, 20 years of dirty needles, raindrops running through my veins.
Now, did you know that, and I tried to find if they were connected anyway, and they're not, but I just thought it was interesting that on their 2009 album, Billy Talent 3, there's a Rusted from the Rain. So this is Standing in the Rain, and then they put out Rusted from the Rain.
Left him to decay, I'm rusted from the rain.
I just thought that was an interesting thing. I couldn't find they were connected. I do like a video for Rusted from the Rain. It's fun, but
okay.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Anyway. So I find it really interesting what you said about The River Below being the beginning of sort of you getting a little bit more into the album. Because this is where I start to kind of, I don't check out at all. There's not a bad song on this album, but this one and the next one are 2 of my lesser loved songs. I like the chorus on this one. I like the lyrics of the verses, but for me, the verses are a little bit too, I don't want to use the word emo, but they're very clean. And again, the lyrics are about prostitution again. And
see, I don't think it's just about prostitution because, okay, the chorus is standing in the rain, milk carton mugshot baby, missing since 1983, standing in the rain.
Standing in the rain, milk carton mugshot baby, missing since 1983, standing in the rain.
20 years of dirty needles. Raindrops running through my veins.
20 years of dirty needles, raindrops running through my veins.
So I don't think it's necessarily about prostitution. I think it's about what going down that path ends up leading to.
Well, I think it's both because here, let me pull it up real quick.
I'm not going to say there's no Canadian hookers.
No. So like the first verse of the song is my head, it hurts each day. It's getting worse. My looks and smile have now become my curse. Tight lips, red skirt, the never ending street. Big car, little man, my lover for a fee.
My head, it hurts. Each day it's getting worse. My looks and smile have now become my curse. Tight lips, red skirt, the never-ending street. Big car, little man, my lover for a fee.
If that's about anything other than a prostitute, but you're absolutely right. I think
sounds like Saturday night to me. But
what you do on your own time. No, but I think you're right. I think it is a story about a girl who ran away from home or something nefarious happens to her. And then this is the life she now leads. And like I said, there's some hints to that in some other songs too. Like I said, there's probably a connection somewhere for him.
There might be. Okay, I really like this one, except for when doesn't do that high pitch thing where he's trying to make the microphone peak.
Got bruises on my feet. My pride, these men have taken it from me.
I really like everything about this one outside of that. It is, this is a sad emo song. It is.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, and so my favorite parts are those little pre-choruses, I guess, 28 to 45 seconds, and then it happens again, like 57 seconds to 106.
For a fee. So if you see me while you're just driving by,
I really like the guitar in there. I like those parts.
I do like
It's
the
not a
lead
bad-
line in this one.
Yeah. Again, it's not a bad song. Like,
No.
there's no bad songs on this record. But for me, we talk about this on every album. This isn't my particular favorite style of Billy Talent song.
Okay. So let's talk about track 9, Cut the Curtains.
So cleared are we. Cut the curtains, the actors have gone home.
Which, I mean, if you're going to cut the curtains, I hope you take them down first, because it's a lot easier to cut curtains horizontally than vertically. Anyway,
I don't know that I've ever cut a curtain.
I made curtains once, and yeah.
You
so-
made curtains? How did you do that? You weave them?
No, like
Sew 'em?
I had fabric, and I was trying to make curtains for my window. I was crafty
Okay.
once.
Those crafty ones.
Okay, so this is where my first note here is the album seems to gradually get better as it goes on, which I know I said that before, but this is where I kind of really felt, and I know you said this is not one of your favorites off the album, but
Yeah.
I felt like this is where we really got a full meshing of that Sex Pistols vocal and the Green Day music or instrumentation. But I put, okay, this one is like the Sex Pistols and Green Day had a baby and it grew up shooting heroin.
You took the heroin from the last song and brought it over.
I did. No, the raindrops. Yes, because it's raindrops running through my veins on that one. Anyway.
I don't disagree. This one's a little bit more, it has like a more of a dirty rock and roll feel to it than some of the other songs. So I can see what you're saying. I think my favorite part is at 57 seconds, that little guitar riff.
Yeah.
It does it a few more times throughout the song. That's the first time you hear it.
I also love that riff.
Yeah, that's a cool riff. I really enjoy that part. And then at 2:01, we actually get a little bit of a guitar solo.
Okay. And then right after 2:01, well, I would say right after, but it's 2:27
Yeah,
is where he really steps up that Johnny Rotten energy.
There is no doubt you throw your inbox. I said there is no doubt you throw your inbox.
And it's like,
There is no doubt you throw your inbox out.
right. I mean,
Almost Iggy Pop.
yeah. I mean, it's just, I feel like towards the end of the album, he kind of really starts channeling more of that kind of 70s punk tone about himself vocally. I'm not by any means saying that Billy Talent is the Sex Pistols and comparing the two. I just feel that influence within him. And personally, I think the song's solid. I think this is a solid song.
Yeah, like it doesn't do anything for me that makes me love it. But when it's on, I'm not mad about it. And a matter of fact, there's enough little parts that make it interesting, that make it a fun listen every time it comes on. And I also really enjoy the outro. I like that it is similar to that gnarly riff we were talking about, just rocked up a little bit, and Ben's doing some stuff on top of it.
No time to fall. We don't have no time to fall. We don't have no time to fall. Said we don't have no time to fall.
Yeah, I think it's a good song. It's just not one of my favorites.
So, okay, the bridge in this song has some nice vocals in it. And I think Ben's showing that he can sing without forcing the aggressive part of things.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I hate about it is it's so quick, it leaves almost as soon as it gets here.
Now he seems our wax wings are melted away. Oh, and we've only been here for one day.
And I don't know. I kind of felt like that was sad. I wanted that part to be extended out longer.
You know, and I mean, it's almost 4 minutes, which for a band this aggressive, that's
That's
how
fair.
long as you want a song to go.
Okay, so I will say that I didn't feel like any of these songs were overstaying their welcome by any means.
No, I don't think so either. And in fact, one or two of them, I could have I could have had them go on a little bit longer. To your point, cut the curtains at 3:50. It still could have been another 10, 15 seconds and would have felt fine.
Yeah, that's been a complaint we've had on other albums where a song feels a little bit too long. None of these felt too long or too short. They just kind of felt like the right time for them. So good job, Billy Talent, on writing a properly length song. So, all right.
Exactly.
So track 10, Prisoners of Today.
I wish I had some spunk. She said, I wanna run, I wanna hide and leave this place just like it left to me. The only problem is I need to find the balls to follow.
This
look like
pulled
you're
me
ready.
back in.
Okay.
Well, I didn't know.
Yeah.
You started off by saying I get to start these songs, and then you started every single one of them except for the first one. So I was going to wait my turn.
You know what? You're right. I did that again. So
That's fine. That's fine. You're leading the way.
we're going to create a third show. And it's going to be called Wait Your Turn.
Perfect. And this will be silence for hours.
Yes, because we're both waiting to speak.
Right. This song pulls me back in. This one to me has similar vibes to some of the other songs that I really, really like. Still not one of my favorites, but I do really, really like this one. I like that it's more upbeat, it's more up tempo. I like that the song starts pretty straightforward. But then when the vocals come in, the guitar sort of like ja ja jing jing ja 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 ji like it gets like real chopped up. I like the rhythm of the guitar during the verses a lot.
Okay, so I really like the intro that's on this one.
Mm-hmm.
This was an intro that jumped out and grabbed me and made me go, okay, it's different enough that like I can say this one sticks out and I like it. And I like his vocals here. They're not overpowering. It's like everything in this track is they're just hitting on every rhythm. They're nailing it. And it's a damn catchy song as well.
It's a good one. It's a real good one. And
so what I'll say is, wow, like there's quite a few catchy hooks on here. Nothing on this album got stuck in my head and became an earworm to where I hated the song. And I appreciate that.
You know what's funny is most of the stuff that gets stuck in my head, like lyrically or vocally, is usually Ian's backup vocals. Like I'm walking around going, try honesty, try, or, on, lies.
Yeah, that's fair. No,
or like some of the intro screaming, like at the beginning of Line and Sinker, which you can't really walk around singing without people thinking you're insane.
Right. So actually, this one, I'm good on this one up until the end where he starts trying to make the microphone peak. And I wonder if Ben's trying to break something in the recording booth and with how high and shrill he screams.
It doesn't really do too much of that at the end of this one.
Well, see, I just remember it started doing that, and I was good up until that.
I guess at the very end, yeah, he does, because most of the last couple measures is Ian singing a little bit more subdued in the background, and then Ben singing some a little bit more complex melodies on top of it. But then, yeah, the last couple lines he does scream in that high pitched voice. But no, I think this is a really good one. I think my favorite section is probably from 58 seconds to 1 minute and 4 seconds, where it's just the guitar. It's not like a solo. It's just there's no vocals or anything, and so you can really hear the choppiness of the guitar, and I like that a lot.
All right. Track 11, Nothing to Lose.
I'm going to say something contradictory here.
Okay.
Contradicting myself. I said earlier, standing in the rain, the verses of Try Honesty, little bit too emo for my taste. Don't love those songs. This works 100% for me. That guitar line, the guitar tone, the notes, I absolutely love it. The way Ben sings on top of it, the lyrics, I think this is a fantastic song.
Okay, so this one also jumped out to me as well. And this is the one place that I would switch things. This feels more like a closer to this album than the closer that we got on this album.
Ooh,
yeah.
I feel like this is too... I actually love the fact that they do have something else after this as a bit of a palate cleanse, because this is such a emotional song. I understand what you're saying. A lot of bands do end the album with that slow emotional thing. So you're not wrong there. I'm glad it's not the last song, because this song, it tugs at my heartstrings big time.
It also tugged at my heartstrings. In fact, I saw there was a video for this. I went and put it on, and I just kind of stopped watching it because I was like, I'm in too good of a mood for this.
It's a hard watch. It's a real hard watch. I will say, if you didn't see how it ended.
Nope, I did not. But I can guess.
Well, yeah, but you probably can't guess how. Like, you know what the kid did, but the way he did it is not what you would expect. I don't mean to laugh, but it's just like, the video is so, I'm going to say it. The song is about a kid being bullied to the point of committing suicide.
Yeah.
And and I think Ben's lyrics are very well written. They're not super poetic and flowery. They're very matter of fact. Like, there's a line where he says, my parents don't know that I eat all my lunches alone in the bathroom.
Yeah, my parents had no clue that I ate all my lunches alone in the bathroom.
There's a line where he says, my notebook will explain.
My notebook will explain.
It's very on the nose.
Yep.
So the music video has this kid being bullied, and at one point they take his notebook from him and they're laughing at him. And so he runs off. This school apparently has a garage where they work on cars. So he runs in.
Thing. That still is a thing at some places, some schools. So not any school I went to, but
So he grabs a hose, hooks it to the exhaust pipe of a car, puts it in the window, and then turns the car on. We've heard of people doing that. That's not the most uncommon thing in the world. But whenever that happens in the music video, I was a little bit like, that's okay. That's not where I thought this was going at all, because of every other teen thing like this usually doesn't involve cars and puffing gas. But okay, anyway.
Okay, so you've mentioned several times the lyrics, and I'm going to agree with you. I think it's a great song all the way around. I think he sounds really good in it. Okay, so the lyrics. Need more friends with wings. All the angels I know put concrete in my veins. I'd always walk home alone, so I became lifeless just like my telephone.
Need more friends with wings. All the angels I know put concrete in my veins. I'd always walk home alone, so I became lifeless just like my telephone.
There's nothing left to lose, or there's nothing to lose when no one knows your name. There's nothing to gain, but the days don't seem to change.
Oh, and no one knows your name. There's nothing to gain, but the days don't seem to change.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to say the first one. I don't know. One of the times I listened to this song with intention, I read the lyrics with it, and I got goosebumps because I was like, I know this. Like, I know this person. I've been this person.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I didn't commit suicide, but, otherwise, who are you talking to, Monster? No, it's, I don't know. It was one of those things just reading. I was like, Billy Talent, you got talent.
Put it this way. Even if you've never been this kid to this extent, I feel like everybody growing up had moments like this. And I just can't imagine this song not making you feel something, whether it's for yourself or for others. And yeah, for as wacky and whimsical as some of these songs have been, some of the subject matter has been pretty heavy at times, but this one in particular, just, yeah, it really, really gets you. And again, he does get into those screams at the end, but they just feel so passionate, like it makes perfect sense.
So I put, at the end, we would normally get the high-pitched shrill screams, but instead we got high-pitched control. Where I feel like they were a lot more control. Like I said before,
okay.
We didn't just get the high-pitched shrill screams where they felt uncontrolled. They feel controlled and they have tone here. And I like that. And
again, I think the guitar line at the beginning and the end is just stunningly beautiful. And I was so thankful that it ended with that guitar. You could have very easily ended it with a big chorus and just faded out. But the fact that they decided to play that guitar line one more time, really, really like that. It's not that long of a song. Play that outro a little longer. I really just love that tone. Those notes. I love it. Great. It's definitely not a song you can listen to all the time. It's one of those that you gotta be prepared for.
No, it's definitely not a throw it on and enjoy the time. It's
not the feel good song of the summer.
I wouldn't say much of this album is, but
no, there's a few, musically. Usually if you're listening to the lyrics, none of them, but
All right, let's round the album out and talk about track 12, Voices of Violence. I do want to say that's a damn good title. I like that. I like alliteration. So
yeah, it's a good title. And I love that coming out of just such an emotionally draining song, this one just jumps straight in, guitar, bass, and drums. About as fast as this might be. I think this is the fastest tempo-wise song on the album.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And as soon as Ben comes in with his vocals, like even in the verse, before he even gets to like the screaming in the chorus, you can just hear like a little snarl in his voice.
Don't wait for a night in shining, I'm on your saviors.
I feel like coming out of Nothing to Lose, I needed this. I get what you're saying about Nothing to Lose being a good final track, but for me, I wanted something like this, and I'm glad it's here.
No, that's fine. I mean, I enjoy the song, but I don't think it's the best closer, but also at the same time, I think it's a good closer. I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Voices of Violence, while I really like the song, it's just a fast, fun song. I actually think his yelling or screaming that I've complained about actually works really well in this one. But I was kind of conflicted with, is this a good closer or would track 11 be a good closer? I don't know. I had the same thought you expressed where it's like you want a palate cleanser. Fine, I get it. But at the same time, I feel like that would have been a better way to kind of bring it down instead of going out on what I feel like was a high note where it's like the energy just kind of got pumped up in the room and then they just left us. And I went, okay, what am I doing now? Like, where are we going? And then Spotify rolled into Billy Talent Live. So
I was going to say, or it rolls into Billy Talent too, which the first couple songs on that album are also nice, fun rockers. I get what you're saying for sure. I actually think I would have been more comfortable with one more song at the end, like Nothing to Lose, something almost like heavier, but more mid tempo to kind of bridge the gap. And then Voices of Violence to go out on. But as it stands, I'm really glad this is here.
I don't know. 13 tracks may have been a little much for me. Just gonna say it.
No. Well, it's actually interesting because most of their albums after this are a little bit longer. They get into more like 13, 14 tracks, more like 48, 50 minutes long. But again, they do start to kind of mellow out a little bit. So it's not quite as aggressive. So it kind of, balances itself out there.
Well, they were young bucks here. So,
Yeah, sort of. 1993. So I think one of my favorite parts of this song is the bridge. It starts around 155. So what's neat about this bridge is the guitar just stays the same. It does this da 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 over and over and over, but the bass keeps changing the root note. So it sounds like kind of has this menacing building feel because the bass is like walking up and then it'll go down and come back up. And you hear a little bit of Ben's voice starts to do it too, because he's saying stuff like, even after I'm dead and buried, I'll still remember. And then, gives us a nice big scream before it goes into the, the ending.
Yeah, that's fine. This was a fun, fast one. I mean, it's 3:10, so it's not super fast, but it feels fast.
Yeah.
So,
and then also to give Ian a little bit of credit too, the chorus is essentially Ben screaming some lines and then Ian singing Voices of Violence. And the way he walks down the note on violence it just feels so good. It's like the song is so fast and so aggressive, but he really takes his time on that violence melody, which sounds really cool. And the phrase violence melody also sounds cool.
Yes. That sounds like a pro wrestler's finishing move.
Ooh. You might be onto something there, buddy.
Yeah. So let's be on to something else. Monster, what's new with you?
Hey, good looking. What you got? Cooking.
I'm going to say River Below.
Many times I've lost count.
I feel like it is the most consistently bouncy of all the songs. Lyrically, it's pretty dark. So I feel like it fits a lot of the, honestly, there's a whole lot of songs about bitching about your ex and, that kind of thing. So that's all pretty new as well. But, I think I'll go with River Below and
right,
Danger What's Cooking.
I feel like the best thing to cook here, too, is cut the curtains.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, Monster, you brought this one to us. So I want you to go first here.
All right. I'll go first. That's fine. Billy Talent is one of the most unique sounding bands in punk and alternative rock, and their debut album showcases exactly why. It's bitter, it's angsty, it's tongue-in-cheek, but it's also sincere and heartfelt and catchy as all hell. Ben has a voice like none other. Ian has a guitar style all his own, and the rhythm section is tight and huge. The lyrics swing wildly from anthemic Love Gone Sour songs to introspective ballads about growing up and being bullied and being looked down on by society. The music is equally bipolar, going from super fast power chords to bouncy chugs to beautiful clean moments. I don't think this album is perfect. It has its flaws, but there are a few songs on here that I think are pretty much spotless. Billy Talent has gone on to have a very successful career, becoming far more mainstream than I think a lot of people thought they would. And it all started with this album. If you like aggressive music and you missed out on Billy Talent, I'd highly recommend giving them a listen, and no better place to start than at the beginning. 1 to 10, I said 8.12. Danger?
8.12. That was higher than I was expecting you to go there.
Did you have your finger on the 7?
I did. So, all right. This isn't a bad album by any means, but it's not really a good album either. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with putting out an okay album. Plenty of bands put out an okay album for their first album, and that's okay. It's not a bad move. I know that you had a different band name and you did put out a different album, but this one, it was a different sound and it's just okay. The highs are high and the lows are low. Musically, this album is great. It's fantastic. I actually would really like to hear an instrumental version of this album. I really don't have much negative to say about the instrumentation here. Musically, it's a solid pop punk emo album. Most of the critiques I have come from, and I put his full name, I'm just going to call him Ben. It's his vocals. They're really the problem that I have. Not all the time, just some of the things that he does. I'm either really enjoying what he's doing or I just need him to stop. It's mostly his shrill screams. I know he got better as time went on though, and that's the advantage that we have to doing an album or doing a show about albums from the past. Overall, I think this is a great emo Green Day album with flavors of that 70s punk. I gave this a 7.59.
That's higher than I thought. I'll take it.
It's higher than I thought I was going to give it, honestly. So
sometimes when we have these conversations, I think we our scores sort of fluctuate. I don't know about you, but my score is always very, it's what's the right word?
Fluid?
It's flexible.
Okay.
Yeah, fluid. Either way, because
mine
there's been plenty
has changed some from time to time. But
yeah, there's been plenty of times where I've got a score, and then after we talk about it for an hour, I'm like, you know what?
No, this was one, just like I do for every album I do, where I went through and I graded each song individually. I took a break from it, and then I came back to it, kind of gave the fatigue a break. And yeah, I did feel the fatigue set in at a certain point on this album. I don't remember where exactly it was, but, a lot of it just had to do with fighting off the shrill.
What's funny is I did the same thing. I rated each song, and then I saw what that score was and was like, holy crap, I can't go that high.
So, all right. Monster gave Billy Talent, their self-titled debut. All right. So he gave Billy Talent an 8.12, and I gave Billy Talent a 7.59, which gives it a total average of 7.855, which puts it into the number 6 position, just below Sleep Token and just above Falling in Reverse.
That tour makes no sense, but I'd be there.
It really does not make any sense. You're right.
I love it.
But I think it'd be fun. So with that, if you disagree with the score that we gave this album, then please shoot us an email at breakdownsbreakfast@gmail.com or head on over to one of our social medias, Facebook, X, or Instagram, Facebook, or Breakdowns for Breakfast across all of those, and let us know what you thought about this episode. Let us know if there's an album that you'd like to give the Breakdowns treatment to.
Keep listening to Second Breakfast and give me any ideas for more episodes, because I recorded a handful in advance and we're getting close to the end of that. So if you got any ideas, let me know. Hey, Danger.
Yes.
What's a Canadian ghost's favorite food?
I don't know. What?
Boo, teen.